Okay, cool.
Count me
Ready?
down to 5. Count me down, Joe.
Oh, sorry. 5, 4, 3, and
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Get a Word In with me, your host, Josh Wagner, connecting with friends in different locations and vocations, discussing yesterday, today, and beyond. And today we're taking it across the pond to jolly old England and linking up with my buddy Joe McCanta in London town. Joe, it is great to have you here today. How are you?
hello, mate.
Hello,
It's
Joe.
good to see ya.
Hey, Joe, what you know? You're right then.
Here in London, I am.
Oh,
Having a great old time.
so happy to have you here with me, mate. All right, Joe.
I'm doing great. No, I just thought that was a good way to kick this off.
No, I'm so happy. That is the way it should always be kicked off. Anyway, for all of my English friends viewing, I'm sorry. I can't have a good accent. All right, Joe, what I do, you and I have shared many dinner tables. I like to start everything off with a dinner table introduction as if no one had ever met you. And here's my dinner table introduction to Joe McCanta. He is the global head of education and mixology for Grey Goose, which means a lot of different things, including education, experience, training, brand development, strategic partnerships, future growth, so much more. But more than that, he's a master of the piano. He's obsessed with jazz music. He's a self-proclaimed worst dancer on planet Earth. He also says he has the worst dad jokes. I would love to compete with you any day of the week, Joe. We also both have 2 made-up last names that people probably don't know about.
True.
Yeah. And Joe was a jet setter and is still a jet setter and martini maker, and he's a dear friend. Joe, what did I miss?
Well, I'm just, the way you describe my job, I'm worried that I need to tell someone that I need to start doing a little bit more things. No, perfect. Talk about the tremendous host that you are. You just nailed it, my friend.
It's great to have you here, and I'm so grateful you took the time. Obviously, a comfortable setting for you in front of your home bar, which is wonderful.
Yes, I've been toying with the light. The problem, so my husband Jay is an amazing photographer, and he always lights me, but he's off today. So I'm trying.
Jay is never off, okay?
See how this goes. Well, that's what I said, What, you think you get a day off?
Jay, we love you.
Okay.
So real quick, so to start off, I'd like to start off with a story.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm asking, but I'm going to put you on. The last time I saw you was in London over the New Year, and which seems like ages ago, which is crazy.
Really long time. Yeah.
I'd like to ask you, not asking a Grey Goose or Martini question to start off. I want to ask you, what's the greatest place you ever tickled the ivories? Where is the greatest place you ever played the piano?
I actually know exactly where. So when I was studying music, I was studying at USC in Los Angeles, and my summer job, which was still one of my favorite, to this day, one of the best jobs I ever had, I was a production assistant at the Hollywood Bowl for their summer programming, which was their summer jazz and world music programming. And it was Oscar Peterson was playing that night, and he wasn't there for his own sound check. And so I was like running around, and my boss was like, "Hey, you need to get out there. Just play something. Just the sound man's just gonna listen to you." So this is daytime. There's no audience, but I'm sitting center stage of the Hollywood Bowl, empty, 18,000 seat arena, just playing my jazz, and that was probably to this day. I mean, there's a lot of great places, but that's one that's pretty special.
Awesome. You know what? There's a lot of people having concerts like that now, Joe. So
absolutely
interesting, right? Crazy.
I love how the music industry has embraced, one of the first industries to really pick up and start doing what they do and giving these concerts at home and putting concerts together,
Sure.
in such and using technology to do it in a really innovative way too. So
very true. And we're gonna talk some music with you later. We're gonna keep moving because I got lots of questions for you. I want to start off with your location. Where are you? Explain it. I see you in front of the bar, but share with everybody what's in your bag.
Around. It's like MTV Cribs, right? So I'm here. I'm in front of my corner bar. Truth be told, this was always just a showpiece before. We bought this like little 1920s kind of home bar, but recently I use it like every day for for everything. You know, we're making films at the moment. We're doing little cocktail hours for people. And I say we because it's Jay and I. My husband's been kind enough to follow me around with it. It's hard in lockdown because you really can't find an excuse not to do it. I'm like, you're right there. Come on. Yeah. So that's me. I've got my dog right here. That's Rosie. This is my lovely house, and and the piano in the corner, which maybe we can check out. And then this is our balcony, and we're right on two parks. So
where are you in London?
I'm in East London. It's called Clapton.
Yep.
So kind of just north, like it kind of east of Stoke Newington. But we've got the canal. That's actually called the River Lee in front of us. But the reason why I bring that up is it's been really interesting watching the shutdown happen over a very big, very public park, because obviously a lot has changed, and we kind of, we went from the very beginning of this where a lot of people were out using the park and trying to kind of enjoy time together, but still not at work, and then it went to people working out, and then it got to the point of, like, I've watched police have to break up groups of people. I've watched other Londoners yelling at groups of people, especially when it's warm, in that park right in front of us, like battles, because when it's nice out, everyone wants to be in the sun. It's not like Miami, where you get sun all the time.
Yeah. So, and of course, in London's luck, quarantine hits, it's the nicest weather you guys have ever had,
Exactly. Like it is so, as a former Californianer, I'm like, every day that goes by has been pristine, beautiful, sunny. Easter. We get 4 days off. We always get Friday and Monday off.
Yeah.
And it's never great. And like Easter was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And nobody can do anything about it. So.
And the best part is like the Brits' humor about it is just brilliant. Like,
you
have to follow any Brit humor about, like, the humor coming out of quarantine and Corona of England is like the best that there is. All right.
They just love to moan. That's why I love the Brits. They moan so perfectly. Like they can complain so perfectly.
All right. So going forward, location-wise, you are in London. You're on a park. But let me ask, with your global role, in the past 5-6 weeks, how many places would you have visited if we weren't in this Corona moment?
Right. Well, so I canceled a trip to Spain and France right when it kind of kicked off. So that would have been 2. Then I would have been in the US. I was going to be in Denver and Los Angeles, and then Bermuda and Greece and Italy. So that's 7 countries.
Wow. Amazing.
That's nothing. Yeah.
That's the impact. All right. So I want to move forward with some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Right?
This is a bit nervous about.
Now we know Joe. Now we know where Joe is. All right. We're going to get into some rapid fire questions. I know you're going to do great. I'm going to start off.
Colin and Luis on. That's like, that's like going head to head with Muhammad Ali for rapid fire questions.
Get in the ring, Joe. You ready?
I'm ready.
Get in the ring.
Let's do this.
Let's get it out of the way. Shaken or stirred?
Stirred.
Okay, I have to get it out of the way as well. How do you order your martini? And I want to know why.
So you meant shaken or stirred in general, or just for me, right? For me, stirred.
For you.
I like a wet, so I go 5-to-1. So 5 parts vodka, Grey Goose, of course, to 1 part vermouth. I like a dash of orange bitters. And I'm a big fan of either like a Gibson if they've got really nice onions, or I'll do grapefruit twist, or if they don't have grapefruit, I'll go with lemon. So.
Okay, if I'm your bartender right now, I'm your bartender, real casual, come up, give me a little lean in and order your martini to me.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Wow, that's a lovely shirt. Where did you get that? I flirt with all my bartenders. Sorry.
I'm blushing right now. Come on.
Hello, sir.
Good evening. How can I help you? Welcome to the bar. What can I get you?
What a fine bar it is.
Thanks.
I'd love an ice cold Grey Goose martini. 5-to-1, dash of orange bitters, and an onion if you've got it. I'd love a Gibson, but if you are the onions house made? Are they, tell me about your onions.
Right here for you, sir. Right here for you, Joe. I'll serve it up. Now you know how the global head of education and mixology ordered his martini. Thank you
Yeah,
very much, Joe. Next question. Get into it. What do you think about when I say Lady Gaga?
Touring music.
That's what you think of? I got to tell people about Joe. Joe was in a band in a previous life called Semi-Precious Weapons that actually was the opening act for Lady Gaga for many, many years. Correct?
Yeah. Yes, so, I actually left that band right when they really started touring.
That's why I asked you, what do you think about Lady Gaga?
To be honest, she is fantastic. I would have toured with her to go, but the old band that I was in, the lead singer was my partner, first ever boyfriend, and we had a massive falling out. And so I didn't look back on leaving that tour. And then he ended up having a massive falling out with her. So that shows you something about him, doesn't it?
That's great. I just love that you were in a band like that. That's amazing. Okay. What is a place that you long to return to?
Normalcy.
Yeah, there you go. Good answer. Okay. What is a place you don't want to return to?
Fear.
There you go. All right. What's vodka?
Vodka is the essence of all spirits. Every spirit starts out pretty much as a form of vodka. So I look at vodka as kind of the essence, the kind of incarnation of every spirit.
Beautiful. What is the best concert venue on earth?
Oh, I got to go with Carnegie Hall.
What is the country with the warmest hospitality?
Australia.
Oh. Where are you and I meeting for a cocktail anywhere on earth? Location.
Oh, location. I would love to meet you in Paris at the Hemingway bar. I just feel like we would do that perfectly.
Perfect. I agree. What is your perfect jam session and who is it with?
Living, or could they be deceased?
No rules here.
So my favorite jazz record of all time is it's from 1964. It's an amazing record called The Complete Concert, but it was 4 and More was the main one that Miles Davis recorded right before voters' rights were being taken from them in the state of Alabama. Wow. And he put this concert on at Lincoln Center to raise awareness. And it was very last minute, thrown together. It's got George Coleman on the saxophone, Herbie Hancock on the piano, a 17-year-old Tony Williams, Ron Carter on bass, and then Miles. And it's by far the most impeccable record ever created. To the extent of at one point during everyone's super young and the band's playing with each other and off of each other. Miles, apparently they got really pissed at each other, really upset at each other right beforehand because Miles told them all as they were walking on stage they weren't getting paid, and they had sold out Lincoln Center. And at one point they're playing and some wacko in the upper kind of like top of the arena just yells, "Yeah!" It's inside. You got to check it out. It's 4 or More, The Complete Concert.
So the only thing missing is Joe McCanta on jazz piano.
Well, no, because they had Herbie Hancock. So that's I'd love to turn his pages.
So when you say that story, that you say they got pissed at each other, and then you had to say afterwards, angry. You've been living in London so long.
Too long.
I know it didn't mean they got drunk. They were angry. You're talking an American right now.
There's so many ways that you switch your little brain when you move across. I mean, you've worked overseas. You lived in Tokyo. You've lived all over the place. But the things that you have to change. And then I'll tell you, when I first moved to London, the first day. Sorry, is this messing up the rapid fire? The first day I was bartending. I was kind of making chit chat and kind of a little nervous because I didn't know how the guest would react. I bartended in New York and Istanbul and but London is London. Yeah. And I had these guests sitting down and I was thinking I'd be really funny. And I was like I was in Shoreditch, so I wore these really, really tight jeans. Mm-hmm. And I kept making the joke like, oh, sorry, I'm trying to be cool, so my pants are really tight. I was like, my pants are so tight right now. And then finally, like, the bar back was like, dude, that means underwear. Like, you have to stop telling people that you're wearing tight underwear. They're trousers, you should be saying. And yeah, you got to learn.
My girlfriend wears a fanny pack, and I'll say to her that your fanny's open, and she's like,
Oh,
I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's the worst thing.
I understand. Okay, we're gonna keep on moving, Joe. Speaking of bartending, how do you make a Manhattan?
Well, perfect, or do you want just a regular? I make a perfect Manhattan. So I love rye as the base. I don't do or rye and cognac, but I'm more like a mix. I love rye when I'm not drinking vodka, and I do mine perfect. So sweet vermouth, a little bit of dry vermouth, a couple dashes of Angostura, and yeah, cherry.
The reason I ask is because I read an article about you that on an interview you weren't able to make a Manhattan as a young bartender.
Wow.
And you've learned and you've kept that knowledge, because a lot of people don't know that you got into wine and spirits to keep your job as a musician. Absolutely. So I'm glad to know you retain that information. You've become the absolute professional you are. I'm going to ask you next question. What is the annual event that has been canceled that you missed the most, that you won't be able to attend in the upcoming future? Globally.
Well, I mean, there's a couple. Can I do two? Because I think from a personal standpoint, Glastonbury being canceled out here, much like Coachella, you know, those big festivals are such the antithesis of the life that we're living right now. It's people coming together, you know, same thing with the Burning Man and all of that. And then personally, I would say, you know, the fact that, well, they don't really know how the Academy Awards is going to happen this year, but that's an event that's near and dear to my heart. You know, I've done many an event there, and so
for the Academy Awards for years.
Yeah, I was lucky.
You guys do the Fizz, right?
Yeah, so we did. We create different cocktails inspired by the movie. We always would do the Le Fizz, but then we'd create new cocktails that were inspired by different themes in the films every year. And that's just a great party. I mean, like the Vanity Fair Oscars. Like, you know, I'm talking to. It's just cool to see so many people that the whole world watches them all the time, and then they walk into one room and they know nobody's watching.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see that vibe, I think, you know, and I'm sure there'll be many other wonderful events to come and global events. And I should have probably said, like, I don't know, there's a lot of other more worthy events, but that's just for me personally, those two, the music side of things. And then, yeah.
Makes you feel something. Let's go. All right. I'm going to ask you, what was your last good deed?
Oh, you know what? I did a similar cocktail hour last weekend, and we have kind of neighbors on this side and neighbors on the other side who are great. One's a photographer, the other is kind of more businessman, and I just surprised. I had everything to make all these drinks because I was teaching people. So I got kind of nice glassware, and I put two cocktails outside of both their doors and texted them. And they opened the door, and it was just kind of, I mean, I didn't think much of it, but they were like, wow, this is, you know, to give people the kind of bar situation. I'm turning off my laundry. Sorry. Should have thought this through better. But it sounds like a helicopter is taking off every time you're trying.
No rules. Do whatever you need. Okay, next question. What is your last regret?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I regret right now, and there's nothing we can do about it, but right now I was, when I was talking about going to Italy and Greece, that was actually with my folks.
Yeah.
I was taking them on kind of their trip of the lifetime. And, you know, I mean, everyone has sad stories, but what I regret most about that is not having the opportunity to spend that one on. It was going to be just Jay and I and them, and we don't have, you know, all the time in the world with our folks. So that opportunity, I definitely regret that we couldn't have happened. But gosh, I wouldn't want them to be. Look, my dog's like, why aren't you saying me? Why aren't you saying regret not feeding me more? You know, she literally came in right where. Yeah, I get it from, but
it's funny you say that, because obviously all of us are having these moments of loss, and but it's how we can turn those into opportunities, right? So like
Sure.
I speak to my mother on FaceTime every afternoon at 5 o'clock, and we share a drink together every day. I have not spoken to my mother every day of my life since I lived with her as a child, and be able to do that and to create new things out of things lost is really beautiful.
Yeah.
We're going to get on to the next section, Joe. Yesterday, today, and beyond, subject matters that are around your expertise that we can discuss of what we thought about them, how we think about them currently, and where we think they're going. There's so many things that you're an expert in as a global traveler, education. You've seen the world from so many different perspectives. And I'd really like to ask you, because it encompasses your skill as a musician, but also your skill as a human being. You understand what entertainment is. You work in the entertainment business from music and personalities and education and spirits. What does entertainment mean to you now?
Well, first off, coming from you, the world guru of entertainment, that's quite a lot to take. I think what's interesting about entertainment right now is that we went from a place of depending on the world to kind of offer things that would entertain us. And I think both of us, maybe I can speak, maybe not, but I think both of us lived our lives kind of going around putting on these entertaining opportunities for guests. That's one of my favorite things. And now what's interesting is that people, and myself included, are now entertaining themselves and finding new ways to entertain themselves. It could be that 5 o'clock call with your mom, it could be hosting a Zoom cocktail party, or it could be, doing something completely new, playing board games, getting out the cards. And I think it's interesting because when growing up, my folks never let us have Nintendo. Any video game was off limits. We weren't ever allowed. And I always kind of regretted it. And so we would find new ways to entertain ourselves. I think it's a similar thing now. It's like when you take away something that's the go-to, it opens up these new opportunities to find new ways of entertaining, if that makes sense.
Actually, I love that perspective. And I want to ask you, so when this quote unquote comes out until vaccine, when we can walk out the doors without any worry, and places in the world are opening up overnight. Like my buddy nightclub in Shanghai has been open for 3 weeks because they have a system that works. So until we have a system that works, are people going to go out and want to be entertained more by somebody else because they've been entertaining themselves so much? Or is it like, you know what? I've got more to share with the world. Like, where does entertainment go from here? Do people want to say, no more of this, or get back to normal?
I think it's a great question. I think what this is doing is showing people how entertaining human contact actually is, weirdly.
Yeah.
And I'll explain that, because we're at a time where we have the least amount of human contact, but we're understanding and we're cherishing the human contact that we used to take for granted.
We're talking more.
God, I'll see a friend in like the grocery store, and it's like the highlight of my, we're still 6 feet apart. I'm like, so I think it makes us appreciate. I think that this time is making me, I shouldn't speak for everyone, it makes me appreciate human relationships so much more. And I think when we come out of it, to answer your question, entertainment will probably involve a lot more. It won't just be sitting there being entertained. And that's a whole other side of it. We're also getting, well, again, I'm talking for myself. I'm getting fed up with Netflix, or, we used to always say, cool, binge watch, whatever. And now I think people are just like, got it out of my system. Yeah. Don't, I'm like that. And so all of a sudden we just started at our house turning off the TV. We spend a lot more time reading these days. We're finding new ways of kind of engaging with entertainment that I think will carry over after this.
I think that experiential entertainment is going to be, interactive experiential entertainment is going to become people want to contribute more. They feel like they have more of a voice, and willing to get involved. I think people are going to be much more willing to jump into something, as our friend Colin Appia says, get involved with stuff, because instead of just watching things, we've been watching. Now let's get involved some more, right?
Hashtag get involved, bro.
Hashtag get involved, bro. All right, next one for you to choose. You want to go in between work-life balance, new skills, indulgences, or travel?
Ooh, let's go work-life balance.
Okay, work-life balance. Joe McCanta. What do you know, Joe?
Um, what do well? So I think the interesting thing about work-life balance for me, in this job, again, well, for me, I was just going, and never having a pause. And I'm talking to a lot of my fellow amazing ambassadors, a lot of my bartender friends. Same thing. It's just like your head's down, you're doing the work, you're grafting, and you never take a minute. And I think what this is injecting in a lot of people, definitely myself, is an awareness that I know for me will continue long after this, of the importance of work-life balance, the importance of not having to work. And it's kind of great that it forced, I think I'm a Roman Catholic raised guilty as sin motherfucker. And I feel guilty about everything. Yeah. And when the world is not working, you can finally not feel guilty not working. So I'm hoping that makes a big difference for a lot of people. And I think hopefully we'll come out of this and people are exercising more, and I'm talking to my friends and everyone I talk to, it's changing the way that our kind of, a dog eat dog mindset of work was before. And I hope this continues.
So do you find that your work-life balance, are you drawing a line to separate them, or have they merged more into one? Because it's really interesting. I think some people today are going to be like, I know when to shut it off. Like, I can't, my phone's not in the bedroom anymore at night.
Yeah.
Like, is it people are getting better at work-life balance, or are they getting worse? Because their work-life balance is now completely in the same place. They can't separate from it. Where do you think in the future?
It's a great question. I don't know the answer. I know for me, it's definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
And I know for some, one of my best friends has a 2-year-old, and she's, gosh, I feel for her. She's working nonstop, and then she's got her baby right there, or her little boy, and for her, I don't know what the answer would be. I think everyone's gonna experience it slightly differently, but I think the one thing that we will learn from this, hopefully, is that there is more to life than just work.
Yeah.
And this is,
Yeah, for sure. And I think an interesting thing is people now have legit house rules,
100%.
Which is, I think, is so cool because, you gotta have rules in your house now.
Yeah.
Like people who were working remotely, digital nomads beforehand. I mean, you've spent years of your life without an office. I know that for a fact. Yeah. Like now it's like, okay, we're home. This is what happens from 9 to 12. This is what happens 6 o'clock. This happens. Like, I think work-life balance, there'll be a lot more regimentation at home, that people who do work from home ahead of time will take the liberties a little bit differently and work differently going forward.
Yeah. I totally agree. And actually, I think I was watching my good friend Richie Irwin talking to you the other day, and he nailed it. He couldn't have said it better, where he said it makes you rethink things that you used to travel for, or it makes you rethink how you work. It makes you think about working smarter, and that you can do a whole heck of a lot without necessarily having to physically be there. And that will be really interesting to see how that manifests for people too.
Awesome. All right, let's get into one more. You want to talk about new skills? You want to talk about indulgences? You know what? I'm picking it.
You pick.
Indulgence.
Well, so I think the difference, the word indulgence is really interesting. And I think what's interesting is what used to be an indulgent and what is an indulgent now. And maybe what will be an indulgence in the future. I mean, an indulgence for me really was exactly what I'm doing now. Being at home for 4 days in a row with the dog, making dinner, not going anywhere. That was the most luxurious, getting caught up on sleep. That was luxury before. That was an indulgence, I think, is a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
And now indulgence is that moment where you run into your friend, you know, and the part like they're walking by at the same time and I haven't seen them for so long, and you know, or yeah, I mean, I loved reading about the Italians did it first, I think, but they would plan to shop at the same time as a few other people just so they could get that, you know, seeing the other person, seeing what they're buying.
Yeah.
And I think that's an indulgence. And then I think after this, the real indulgence will be getting back out into those bars that you know, the great thing with a bar is it is the epitome of looking after people. It is the epitome of, you know, that's why the word hospitality exists. It's hugging people and welcoming them, even if it's not physically. That's what you do as a great operator. And my indulgence will be just talking face to face with people again, sitting in a bar, being able to cheers with some of our friends, making sure that some of them made it through okay, making sure that they're safe, and hearing all the stories at the end of all this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I look forward to that future indulgence as well, very, very much. And, you know, seeing fleeting moments of that hello, like those small connections, and what it's going to feel like to be in a full room of people all sharing smiles. It's going to be this unique moment of glowing, I think. You know, going to events, I always knew an event was great when everyone kind of was moving to the music without them knowing, and there were smiles everywhere, and people didn't know why they were.
Yeah.
Like, I think, you know, that group feeling is going to be really awesome to have.
I totally agree.
I got one more question for you. If for you to get your word and a parting message, something that you could share with everybody listening, what's Joe's parting word? Get your word in, Joe. What's Joe McCanta?
Well, you know, I'll leave you with what Dorothy Parker once said at the round table at the Algonquin Hotel in New York City. She said, "I love a martini. I'll have 2 at the most. If I have 3, I'm under the table. 4, I'm under the host."
Cheers, my friend.
Those are her words. God, parting word. I want to say one word, which is thank you for doing this. There's a lot of great, incredible, talented people that are out there that need to kind of be talking to someone like yourself and being able to watch you pull these little nuggets of wisdom. You know, and I know I'm not the only one reading in the comments that this is making people's days, and I think it's great. I think it's a great initiative, and thank you for having me. I feel very honored as your friend to be a part of this. So, you know, well done.
Thank you, Joe. And, you know, it's about connections, right? And, you know, it's doing someone like you on a global basis is going to continuously share a positive message as you're going forward to share, cheer, hospitality, education, moments of entertainment, right? So, Joe, keep making music in all ways, shapes, and form. I love you. All right. We'll be connecting soon, and we got to work on that theme song, my friend. Joe's going to make a little piano.
Dude, I'll play you out. Shall I?
Play me out, Joe. Yes.
This is our little.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for getting the word in, bud.
Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.